Welcome to Chopstick Travel. I'm Luke Martin, and today is day 2 here in Bandung, Indonesia. This is the capital of West Java and a city that is famed for its food culture. The plan for today is to tour the city, sample as much as I can of Bandung's famous food. It's gonna be a great episode, so make sure you stay tuned until the end. Let's go eat some Indonesian food. So I've come bright and early to this extremely popular stall that's selling something called Kupat Tahu. This is such a popular stall. There's a massive line of grab food drivers picking up for delivery, and then just tons of hungry customers. So they're serving Kupat Tahu, which is rice cake or compressed rice, so ketupat, but here they call it Kupat, and Tahu, which is tofu. So she takes the compressed rice, slices it up into little small bite-sized pieces, and then does the same with some fried tofu. And then it's topped with just a ton of peanut sauce, completely smothered in peanut sauce, a little bit of ketchup manis, the sweet soy sauce, and then some fried shallots, and then some keropok, the shrimp crackers. And this is really popular for breakfast. You can just see there's so many people here. So I'm gonna go inside and try out the Kupat Tahu.
Bukan, ini yang biasa. Ini yang double, berapa yang double?
So it's quite a simple dish, as I mentioned, just the tofu, the kupat, the compressed rice cakes, and then there is a couple bean sprouts on there slathered in that peanut sauce, and then some ketchup manis, and then topped with this huge keropok. And this tofu is quite special. It comes from a place called Cibuntu. It's a town that's nearby to Bandung that's extremely famous for its quality of tofu, because the water quality there is really good. So they're using Cibuntu tofu here. So I'm gonna go in for a bite. I've got chopsticks here because they ran out of forks and spoons. So I'm gonna try a bite with a piece of the rice cake, if I can find one, and a piece of the tofu. Oh wow. I thought it was gonna be served cold, but actually the tofu is still nice and hot. So is the kupat. Even the sauce on top, I think, was a little bit hot. It's got a really nutty flavor and a little bit of a sweetness too. There's a sambal on the table here, so I'm gonna add some spice, even though it's only like 7 a.m. A little bit of a pick-me-up. Try that with some of that tofu. Yeah, you can tell that tofu is really good quality. Yum. A little bit spicy, but that is a perfect breakfast dish. It's really light. The flavor is not super strong. It kind of looks like it's gado-gado, but it's not at all. The flavor is totally different. I love that peanut sauce. Super thick, creamy, and rich. It's like peanut butter toast, Indonesia style. This place is super popular for a reason. It's all about the sauce, and the tofu quality is just so good. I really love this sauce. It's got a sweetness, nuttiness, it's perfect for breakfast. And actually, I tried to come here yesterday, and I came around 10 o'clock, and they were already sold out 10 a.m. So this place sells out really quick. If you want to get here and try it, you gotta come early. Maybe not your typical breakfast of fried tofu and compressed rice, but I will have to say that it definitely works for breakfast, and it's actually quite normal for a Western palate, because the sauce is so sweet and peanutty. And you know, I used to eat a lot of peanut butter toast for breakfast. It's kind of like a different version of that. But we're gonna keep going and taste more of what Bandung has to offer. So my next stop today is at a legendary stall called Baso Gagak. They're selling bak mi, so I ordered both the dry version and the soup version. It's a Chinese influenced noodle, but very Indonesian. And this restaurant is just really homey feeling, super hidden hole in the wall type atmosphere.
Ini mah nggak bikin di sini.
Oh, bikinnya di mana?
Kalau yang bikin di sini.
My noodles have arrived. This is the first one. This is the baso. So it's the soup version. It's got shredded chicken all over top. There's a couple of spring onions in there and those beautiful noodles. Give it a little bit of a mix. A lot of shredded chicken. And I ordered this with the special. So it comes with a side of all kinds of different things over here. So there is the baso, the meatballs, beef tripe. You can see that kind of creepy looking tripe, and then there's some dumplings in there too. And then back here is the yamien, which is the dry version of the same dish, but it's just dried. So you can get the sweet and salty. I ordered the salty version, and I give that a little bit of a mix too. And there's also some beautiful sambal on the table. Look at the color of that. It's just super rich, right? I'm gonna put it in my soup. Yeah. Go for one more scoop. Let's try it out. The noodles are very soft. That sambal has some vinegar in it, so it's got some acidity. Okay, I'm gonna try the yamien now, the dry noodles, and you can load this sambal. It's really, really good. A little bit of vinegar in there and mix that up. Oh yeah, look at that. Most of the flavor is coming from that sambal. It's got a little bit of a spice, but it's mostly vinegar. I'm gonna chase it with one of these dumplings. It's not as firm as like Chinese noodles usually are, or Japanese noodles that are really soft. Very satisfying, hearty bowl of noodles, cool atmosphere. Simple but satisfying bowl of noodles. This is the type of restaurant I wouldn't be surprised if I was the only foreigner or Westerner who's ever been here.
Oh, enak. Enak pokoknya. Aduh, ini bahasa goreng ini hauce cicimping enak nih. Ya, harga satunya bangit 11.000. Oh, hauce. Oh, enak. Iya. Kita 4.000 kayak dari jam 6:30 sampai jam berapa? Satu aja ya.
Jakil 5, jakil 5.
The next food I'm trying today in Bandung is bakso goreng. So bakso is meatballs and goreng is fried. So this stall here is making the fried meatballs. So you can see he's making it right here with this mixture. It's half chicken and half mackerel. And it's like super sloppy, goopy mixture. And then he's dumping it in the oil back over here. You can see they've got like 1, 2, 3, 4 different pots of the hot oil here, and they're just overflowing with the bakso. It's really greasy looking, but it's meant to be eaten with sambal, so spicy sauce. And just check this out. Look at how many meatballs they've got going at once here. And they've also kind of sliced them into kind of to open them up and cook them in the middle, and then as they keep frying, they flour open. Look at all that. Wow. Nice. Bakso goreng.
Bakso goreng, enak, lucu.
Enak?
Enak, lucu, lucu si Timbing, enak gila. Aduh. Oh, baru jarang kita.
Alright. Well, let's try out some Baso Goreng. The street food just never stops here in Bandung. This is the final result, the Baso Goreng fried meatballs. You can see, like we saw, they were cutting them open and now they've kind of floured open like this, bloomed if you will, and they're actually really light. They feel really airy. I'm gonna put it down here and break off one of these chunks. Super crispy feeling. It feels really, really crispy. And like I said, it's half mackerel, half chicken. And there's a beautiful sambal on the table. So you gotta generously go for a dip in this because otherwise it's just gonna be fried flavor, not much to it. Let's try this out. Really airy. It's very light. Feels like almost like youtiao or fried bread because it's so airy on the inside. There's lots of air bubbles, and then the sambal is quite spicy. Garlic in there for sure. Super, super crispy too. I like the texture. So we go good with the beer, to be honest. This sambal is hot. Definitely got some heat to it, and it's honestly like a meat donut is how I describe it. It's fried like a donut. The texture is almost like a donut, but it's a little bit fish flavor and chicken, so it's like a meat donut almost. Okay, so airy. Yep. Cool spot right underneath a stadium bleachers on the backside of the stadium actually. Quite greasy but definitely tasty, especially with that sambal.
Ada yang bulat, ada yang mekar. Baso goreng, tahu ciri simping, enak gila.
Cik.
So I've hit the streets again of Bandung. It's the evening time now and I've come to try one of the most famous things to eat here in Bandung. It's called Batagor. So it stands for Ba, which means bakso, the meatball, Ta, which stands for Tahu, the tofu, and Gor, which stands for Goreng. So fried meat, not meat, tofu ball, fried tofu ball, I guess. And it's more of like a dumpling, I guess you could say. And this place, Batagor Abuy, is quite famous for their Batagor, so I'm going to try it out. So this place is kind of in a shed or like a garage right on the side of the street, and this is Bandung original food, the Batagor, and I've got my serving here. So it's actually also mixed with some mackerel, similar to the Baso Goreng that we had earlier today. There's also, it looks like some green onions in there, scallions, and then their sauce looks incredible. They start with a sambal, and then they squeeze a lime in there, and then add a little bit of the ketchup manis, and you can see, look at how much sauce they give you. So I think these are meant to be completely drowned in it. Hopefully that's not too crazy spicy. That's good. It's not too spicy at all. It's actually quite sweet. You can really taste that sweet soy sauce. And the texture of these, totally different than the Baso Goreng. These are much chewier, bouncier. You can feel that there's some tofu mix in there. And that sauce is really what this is all about. Look at that. I'm just drowning in it. Yum. Now these don't really look like much, but these are seriously good actually. A lot better than the Baso Goreng in my opinion. I could sit and eat this whole plate and Baso Goreng were a little bit too greasy for me. These aren't as crunchy on the outside either. They're really bouncy and chewy a little bit. I don't know what it is about these, but they are actually really good. I wasn't expecting much because it doesn't look like much. Yeah, they're really yummy. Wow, that was surprisingly delicious. I love Batagor, and Bandung is one of those cities that really comes to life at nighttime, especially for food. So I'm gonna go and try some of the popular desserts to try here in Bandung. Let's go. So I've come now to the night market here in Bandung. It's called Cibadak. It's absolute street food galore. The streets are just lined with stalls selling all kinds of different things. Not just Bandung specialties, but also food from around Indonesia. So I'm looking for a very famous dessert though that is particular to Bandung. It's called Serabi. This is the Serabi. It's a fermented rice batter with coconut, and then I ordered mine with kinja, which is all this palm sugar you can see right there. It's just completely smothered in it. This is a dessert, so I'm gonna cut off a small bite, expecting it's gonna be quite sweet. Oh wow, it's really, really dense actually. I can barely get my spoon through it. Oh my gosh, it's really, really dense. All right, let's try that. Oh, it's not crazy sweet. It reminds me exactly of a palm in India. It's got that tangy fermented rice flavor, but it's a nice balance with coconut and sweetness, and it's a really dense cake. I love the palm sugar. It tastes really, really good and fresh. That's really good. Yum. Serabi. Look at it, it's so heavy. It's gonna break my spoon. Wow. It's good. Not a bad dessert. Probably not the best version of it in Bandung, but Serabi worth a try. And this street is just bonkers. People here like to eat and eat late. It's getting late and it's still just so packed with people. I'm going for one more dessert though. So I've come to this place now called Roti Bakar 234. They're selling Roti Bakar, which is toast, but they do it here on charcoal by hand. You can order all kinds of different fillings. I think I'm gonna go with something with chocolate. It's quite a hardcore setup, a really shady alley, a little sketchy looking with these bars right here, almost like a jail cell, and then a little tiny stall, but there's lots of locals here, and they're doing it the traditional way on charcoal by hand, so I'm excited to try it out. I got my favorite mixture of cheese, chocolate, and condensed milk, and to say that they are generous with the portion size is an understatement. You get an entire loaf of bread. He cuts it into 4 slices and then slathers it with butter, and then opens up the little cheese drawer that he's got with some slices of cheese, lays down some cheese, and then lays down some chocolate sprinkles on top of that, and then tons of condensed milk, and that's on each piece of the bread, and then it goes right onto the charcoal to be grilled up until that cheese and that chocolate gets right melty and delicious. Man, oh man, I'm really getting my calorie intake here in Bandung. Wow. Okay, here is the final result, the Roti Bakar, similar to the martabak that I had yesterday. At least I got the same ingredients, but this one's with the thick bread. Look at that, an entire loaf of bread, and you can see the charcoal grill on there. I'm gonna go for a piece from the middle if I can. Oh, they're huge. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, I think I took 2. Look at that. Chocolatey, cheesy, all that condensed milk. Let me try this out. Whoa, that's sweet, super sweet. The chocolate didn't melt as much as in the martabak, and it's really smoky. Like, you can taste that grill. A little bit bitter almost. Same with the cheese, didn't really melt too much. I think I prefer martabak, but it's still pretty good. Man, that thing is deadly. I can only have one piece of this tonight. Oh wow. What a setting too. Down this super sketchy little alley. You can taste the grill. I've got a fan right here. Film him.
Say hello.
Hello. Wow, what a way to cap off another day of eating here in Bandung. That is definitely not better than the martabak. It's way too like burnt flavor in my opinion. It's one of the only things I didn't really like that I tried here in Bandung. But this city, you gotta come here if you love food. This is a famous city for its food. Bandung is full of people who love to eat. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the last 2 episodes here. I'm off to another part of Indonesia. Make sure to stay tuned, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when I post my next video. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.